Good afternoon. Welcome to Carol's Books and Story Time. I have a short story for you today about imitations, and it's a legend that I'm retelling. When I was in Hong Kong, I paid a visit to the famous flower market. The people of Hong Kong love flowers, especially their purple native orchid. There in the market at Mong Kok, flowers are magnificent, and even the most expensive orchids can be bought for just a few dollars. The colours and variety are fantastic, and as for the perfume, the smell is out of this world. Thinking about the wonderful sights and smells of Hong Kong's flower market reminds me of a story I once heard about King Solomon, the wisest king that ever lived. And only this story can be found not only in the Bible, but in the realms of legend. King Solomon was renowned for his wisdom and justice. People came from far and near to consult him because they valued his advice. But there were those who tried to catch him out with the hope of making him look very stupid. Well, in the reign of King Solomon, there lived in Israel a young man who was very skillful at making imitation flowers. In fact, he made them so well you could hardly tell the difference between the real flowers and the imitation ones. This young man had heard of the wisdom of King Solomon and decided to test him to see if he really was as wise as everybody said he was. So he made a bouquet of the best imitation flowers he had, and then picked a bouquet of similar natural flowers. He took both bouquets along to King Solomon and asked him to tell which one was imitation and which one was real. King Solomon looked very carefully at both bouquets of flowers, but he could not tell the difference between them. Knowing his reputation as being a wise man was on the line, he took both bouquets and placed them on the open windowsill. Then he sat down and he watched. Very soon a bee came by and landed on the real flowers, burying itself deep down inside the pollen cups before finally emerging with pollen in the little baskets on its legs. "These are the real flowers," exclaimed King Solomon. The bee rejected the imitation ones, but he commended the flower maker for his skills. Satan is the master imitator. Adam and Eve found that out to their cost in the Garden of Eden, and that's not only in the Bible and other scriptures, but it's also in the bone scriptures. God had told them not to eat of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, and if they did, they would die. And he had told them, Satan had told them, "You will surely not die." God says, "Obey my voice." Satan says, "It's not necessary to obey." God says, "Put me first in your life." Satan says, "Put me yourself first." God says, "Keep my commandments." Satan says, "The commandments were done away with when Jesus died on the cross." It's very difficult to tell the real from the fake. It's the same with relationships. How do you know the person who says they love you really does love you? What about your friends? Are they genuine? Do they like you for who you are, not for what you can do for them? The only way we can tell the fake from the genuine is to put our trust in Father God over everything in our lives and ask him to guide us in our choices. Won't you today ask him to give you the wisdom of Solomon to distinguish between the fake and the reality?